Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
And with the 26th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Michael Penix, quarterback, Washington. No, that's not happening. That is not happening. Oh, maybe. Who knows? He'll be gone by then. Welcome into the draft day edition of the JP Peterson Show. All the scenarios that you never thought of, and some you probably did. We'll talk about them today and chop it up a little bit with who the Bucs may be sitting with here tomorrow at this time that we'll be talking about. Do you think it'll be somebody that we've already talked about? Kalijah Cansey certainly wasn't on the radar. Good morning to you, Nick Ennis. How are you?
I'm doing great on this NFL draft day. We finally made it after the last, if you go back to the end of the college football season, we're nearly 6 months in to this evaluation process of nitpicking every player to death and all the content that you've seen on ESPN and NFL Network and all over the place. And it finally culminates tonight. We know, we have to wait, actually. I was going to say we no longer have to wait, but we still have to wait a little bit. We're probably about, 12-ish hours still away from the Buccaneers actually picking. It's going to be a long night, probably going to be close to 11:30 by the time the Bucs pick. And then watch, Jason Licht's going to swerve us and trade out of the first round on top of it. You watch.
I'm muting myself because in our home studio here today, we're getting pressure washed. The homeowners association
I
is
thought
getting
that was
pressure
a
washed.
blender going on. I was like,
no,
there's
we were
a
getting
foul
pressure
going
washed
on in there.
And what's absolutely fantastic about this whole process is I went out there early this morning, explained to them like when we're going on the air, blah 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 blah, and they said, "Oh, we can get it done before you go on the air."
Oh.
So like literally at 10 a.m. he starts hitting the front window. So that's how draft day is going to start. I'm obviously I think there was a bit of a language.
You're at the floor right now of your draft day. The ceiling is still beyond. You're at the floor.
Anyway, we also got a hockey game tonight. Game 3 at Amalie Arena of the playoffs. An actual game is happening tonight. An actual playoff game, not a draft, not a player that might be good that we have no idea about if he's ever going to really fit in or what he's going to become. Not a draft, not a possibility, but an actual game tonight with playoff. Not only implications, it's a freaking playoff game, and it's a must-win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we'll get into that as well. Brian Bradley's going to join us live from Morning Skate, so we'll get all the line rushes, see who's out there. Will Tanner Jeannot be playing tonight?
Lord, one can not hope. I guess could not hope for that.
Do the Lightning need to make some changes? Do they need to do something or stick with their game plan and just be a little bit better? Just be a little bit better. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. The Rays get a big win last night, courtesy of Curtis Mead, getting a 316-foot home run. Whatever. I'm guessing that would only be a home run in Tropicana Field with the low wall.
Ooh, I'm going to have to find that Twitter account that tells me, but
yeah.
I will take it. Carl Crawford strikes again. He strikes again.
I'm going to guess yes, right? Find out for me. I'm going to say yes. I think this is the only ballpark. Well, there's a lot of short. I mean, down the lines, maybe Wrigley Field. I don't know. We'll find out. You know where that Twitter is. So we'll get into the Rays as well. And some other Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. Does that open the floodgates for everybody else? As Mike Bianchi put out there yesterday from the Orlando Sentinel, should the Gators get their 84 and 1990 SEC championships back as well? While we're rewriting history in this country, let's just get after it, right? And the sports side, let's start changing national championships and everything else.
I got other things that I think need to be changed too in other sports. I feel like we should just go full on this.
Okay.
We should
let's do it. What else needs to be changed now that things have changed in the world? What can we go back and change in the world of sports to make it right?
Give Armando Galarraga his damn perfect game back. Okay? Jim Joyce. No justice in this world. What
That's
was
right.
That now? That was like
The
what,
play that
15, 16 years ago by now?
the play that sparked replay, right?
Correct.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but yes, had there been replay, he would have a no-hitter. Absolutely.
Perfect game. Perfect game.
Perfect game. That's right.
Hell, with
Perfect
the
game.
no-hitter, it would have been perfect game.
That's right. Perfect game. Yeah, we could go through a lot of these things for replay, right?
Yeah.
Florida State would have won their first game over Florida about 10 years earlier, evidently. I remember, forget, and again, I'll text Barry Smith on that. But there, who was the receiver anyway? Lane Fenner, maybe. There was a famous picture on the cover of the front page. Remember when we had newspapers of the Tallahassee Democrat with him getting a foot down in the end zone? They called it no good. One of the original replays, right? Would have been a catch and a game winner for FSU. Yeah.
Hey, how about here's another blast from it. What about Bert Emanuel?
Bert Emanuel catch?
Caught the football.
Yeah. Although, well, that was the first big replay challenge by the officials, which they completely got wrong. And that was the beginning of the end for that for football. So, yeah, we could rewrite a lot of different things getting that Reggie Bush back. Which by the way, I said it back then, and many years ago. This is ridiculous. Like it's the college football model is ridiculously exploitive of these players. The fact that these players, while the rest of the student population can have jobs and make money and do everything they want to do like normal human beings, the football players are kept from selling their own stuff or getting anything of value. The NCAA rules were the most archaic rules, the stupidest thing. You couldn't even buy a hamburger. You couldn't even take Reggie Bush to McDonald's if you were in any way associated with the University of Southern California. If you were Will Ferrell and you saw Reggie Bush at the club, you couldn't even send him a vodka tonic. It was like it was the stupidest stuff in the history. And we said it then. And for him to be stripped of his Heisman was stupid and dumb. It was just another scare tactic to tell to keep the players down. Like, don't you dare go out right now. Yes, we're having steak and lobster here at the booster meeting on the backs of you, but don't you dare go out and get anything from a booster. And then taking his Heisman, just the most ridiculous stuff ever. So, yeah, I mean, we joke about going back and rewriting history. That was dumb at the time. The whole system was stupid. The whole thing was exploitive. And yes, is it better now? Quote, better now? No, not necessarily in terms of, the chaos that's going on, but that's because of the lack of leadership of these college football people. At some point, hopefully, they'll get it all together, but it's going to come some bastardization of the top few conferences and, a lot of the also rans, the USFs of the world. That I don't mean that derogatorily, just in where you're at right now, in that situation where you're at complete disadvantage from some of these other power conferences, will it ever be a level playing field? I don't know. Doubtful, because the powerful, oddly enough, the powerful and the rich hate to give up their advantages. Shocking development, I know.
This
just in, shocking development. The powerful and the rich, when they have an advantage, try not to give up those in some, wonderfully charitable way. Oh, sure, let's pool all the money and we'll do it. So we'll have all the teams on a level playing field. Not unless you're a professional football league where you have owners that understand they're all going to make tons of money. But doing it with college football is going to be tough. So anyway. Don't want to get off on a tangent. Let's get back to the business at hand, and that's Game 3 tonight at Amalie Arena. You look at these first two games, Nick, and you can say the Lightning are close, and they are close. I don't think they've been horribly outplayed like some of these other teams have been. I don't think that there's a demonstrative advantage for the Florida Panthers. I think they're the better team right now. I think that's shown, but I don't think by much. I think, a couple of calls go the Lightning way. This is a 1-1 series. Absolutely, it's a 1-1 series, and we have a completely different outlook on what's going on. And I think that's where it should be, frankly. I mean, you go back and look at the mistakes that were made by the officials. They were critical mistakes. We all know that there's going to be calls that are missed. By the way, did you see last night Marchand just trip Bertuzzi, just take his skates right out from under him?
He's awesome at it, man.
He's so good at it. But how do you not?
Good at it.
How do you not call that? Is it just so quick and away from the play that nobody sees it?
I mean, do we ever have an answer to those questions?
There's four guys on the, like, how do you miss that? Anyway, but when there's going to be mistakes that happen, they're going to miss calls. I get it. But when they directly lead to goals, that's a problem. That's a problem. The Chafee call was awful. Directly leads to a goal. The goaltender interference directly allows a goal, in my opinion. And I know you can look at it, and that one's close. I get it. But to me, clearly contact was made before Hagel pushed him in the back. And Andrei Vasilevsky is on his ass and has no opportunity to make the save. That's classic goaltender interference, and I don't see how you can see it any other way.
You thought so? So you thought that was goaltender interference?
100%.
I was opposite. I was opposite on that. Like, I hated
Engblom was on the show yesterday. He agreed. It was
so, like, regardless if I thought it was goaltender interference, I thought it was close enough that because of the call on the ice, I really didn't think they were ever going to overturn that. And I thought that earlier in the game, willingly signing up to go on the penalty kill then, I thought was the wrong move. And obviously they were able to kill off the penalty. But no, I saw that one differently. I thought there was no way they were going to overturn that. And I was a little shocked that John Cooper actually challenged it.
I thought the replay clearly showed that was it Tkachuk? I think it might have been Tkachuk.
I think it was Tkachuk, yeah.
Yeah, his as Engblom said yesterday, and I completely agree with him, his stick contacts Vasilevsky well before, and this is not even, another part of this is supposed to be able, if the player is able to avoid the goaltender, that's part of the equation. And clearly, Hagel did not push him into Vasilevsky. His momentum was carrying him into Vasilevsky, and then Hagel hit him, and it became more demonstrative. But the first contact was clearly Tkachuk's stick onto Vasilevsky, and then his body onto Vasilevsky, and then more body with the Hagel, who was also being contacted, by the way, by another Panther player, or it was another. I believe it may have been another Lightning player, but anyway. To me, Tkachuk was clearly, his momentum was going into him. And then the other crucial part of this is Vasi's on his ass. The spirit of this rule is, if not encumbered, the goalie should be able to make the play in his crease. And he was clearly not able to do so. I've seen a lot less called goalie interference, a lot less.
Yeah, it's a ticky-tacky sort of call, always.
Yeah, and it's a ticky-tacky call that went against the Lightning. So my point is, and I think you can debate it. I'm not going to be that foolish to say that it's clear and without controversy. But I think by the letter of the rule and the spirit of the rule, he was contacted first and was not allowed to make the save. And in a situation like that, you don't want cheap goals if you're Panthers, you do.
Here's my thing though about the officiating. The officiating stinks, right? We can all acknowledge that. I actually thought the officiating on both sides in that game was horrendous for the most part.
But when they blew calls, it didn't end up in Lightning goals.
Well, here's my thing. At the same time, I feel like the Lightning sort of have lost their privilege to really get upset because you were gifted
I agree.
A 4-minute power play, okay? You barely get those throughout the season, let alone in the playoffs. You barely get those. And 4-minute power play, and you come out and
you say gifted. He hit him in the chops, and
it was earned. It was earned.
It was earned.
It's all semantics.
But you had an opportunity.
But my point is you had an opportunity. You had 4 minutes on the power play, and this was a historic power play, right, throughout the regular season.
Yes.
You have to score there.
Gotcha.
And when you don't score there, the game is over.
You get 2 shots in 4 minutes?
2 shots. There was 2 shots, and there seemed to be a lack of urgency. That power play 1 unit right now, and it kind of comes down to 86, and I don't want to harp on him too much because, listen, the Lightning are not anywhere in the postseason without him. That is true.
Separate issue.
But it's a separate issue. Both things can be true.
Right.
His play through the first 2 games has just not been up to snuff. And you can tell me that, okay, well, Florida's doing a great job of focusing on him and trying to take him out. You know what? Every star player in this league has to deal with that. And I haven't
Absolutely.
seen it affect McDavid. It's not affecting Matthews. It's
Well, it
not
hasn't
affecting
affected Kuch
McKinnon.
in the past.
It's not affecting Pasternak. And it hasn't affected Nikita Kucherov in the past.
He's been
Okay?
a playoff
Ever since that Columbus series
superstar. Yeah.
where they roughed him up a little bit and he was still a little immature, I would say. And
Agreed.
he got
Agreed.
himself suspended a game. He's been really good at handling himself. But in this series, I feel like it's been a little different. And he's not really shooting the puck. That's true. When he does, he's missing. And then he's just losing the puck off his stick. And he's flubbing some passes. He's just not locked in right now.
No, he's not.
That we can say that.
And listen, this does not dismiss the fact that he won the MVP. But
Correct.
we're just being objective here. And if you're being objective, I think if you ask Kucherov, if you ask anybody, do you need more from Kuch? Yeah, of course you do.
Right.
Of course you do.
Because I think the other Lightning stars, like I think Hedman's been fine. Okay,
Good.
I think
Couple
Point
points,
got
yeah.
in the game the other day pretty well. Stamkos has been him and Sorelli. I think have been the two best forwards on the ice.
Terrific.
And then Vasilevsky. All this talk about we don't have the right Vasilevsky, and of course I'm guilty of that too. I just didn't see it. I should stop slandering this guy during the regular season because in the postseason, here we stand, and this is the crazy part. He's has a 922 save. That's number one among all the goalies in the playoffs this year. He has a 3.8 goals above saves above expected. That's number two, and the Lightning are sitting here down 0-2 in a series.
Yeah, it ain't Vasi's fault.
Is standing on his freaking head right now. He's not getting much help. And the problem is that Sergei Bobrovsky has just been a little bit better, or he's gotten a little bit less work.
He's gotten less work. I'm not going to say he's better. And then look, we're the difference in both games is one goal. I know the first one was a 3-1, but that's a 1 goal game, before you pull your goalie, right? So that's a 1 goal game. You have 2 1-goal games on the road. Are you out of the series? No, of course not. But you got to win tonight. You got to win tonight. And look, again, if you get the calls going your way a little bit, which, maybe they're supposed to even out, right? Supposed to even out over the series. You get the calls going your way. I mean, Stamkos is an inch away from scoring 2 goals the other night, right? So, yeah, the Lightning, I don't want to say they're fine, because I want the sense of urgency. I don't want them to go out and win 3-2 tonight. I want them to win 5-1. I want them to win 5-1.
Well, I thought they found
that, but that's
they certainly found something in that game. I liked other than the start. They've got to figure out how to start better.
Oh God,
okay?
yes. In overtime.
Because
the
problem is they're chasing the game.
Exactly.
You can only chase the game so much. They haven't had a lead yet in this series, and Florida's too good. You have to you got to respect the opponent. This team was in the Stanley Cup final last year.
Totally.
And they got a 57 goal scorer over there. They got Kachuk and Barkov and Verhaeghe, the one that got away, with 5 game winners in the playoffs in like 47 games or something unreal like that. Overtime game winners, I should say. Like, this is a great team. And I've said it reminds me of the Lightning teams that were winning cups 3-4 years ago. So you got to respect the opponent. But now that you have this game at home in your barn, first of all, I need the crowd to show up. I've been a little critical. Sometimes crowds are hit or miss for Lightning. I'm just being objective. I need you to bring
half the bowl cannot be. We can't have a half full lower bowl at 7:05.
I need the crowd to bring it tonight, and I need the Lightning. Honestly,
get one
get one within the first 10 minutes. This is going to be what's telling. If you come out flat tonight, then we got issues. There's no excuse for it.
Well, and I would like to see. I think the Florida crowd was great. I really do. I want to give the Panthers, because we've given them a lot of crap over the years for not showing up, but they showed up and they showed out. And I want the Lightning crowd to be there early. And every time the Lightning make a rush in that first period, let's stand up and cheer.
Yeah, let's get on our
the
feet.
Energy going.
Get on our feet a little bit. Sometimes, Emily, when you're there, it comes off like it's a little corporate. Sometimes we're sitting on our hands. Let's stand up a little bit. Let's get the energy. I'm not saying you got to be Winnipeg. I'm not going to compare you to Winnipeg. They're crazy. But let's get a little noise in the building.
If somebody stands up in front of you, don't tell them to sit down.
Yeah,
let's stand up too.
And if
when they stand up, you stand up.
And don't you think about wearing a suit? I don't want to see any suits in the front rows. If you're going to work today and you're going to the game after, pack the jersey with you.
That's right.
I don't want to see any suits.
It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. Nobody's wearing no ties allowed. Okay, let's ditch unless you're working. All right, no ties allowed. That is just let's get on our feet. Let's show up early. I don't want to, I don't want long lines because there's going to be more people there. All right. Yes, we sell out every game. I get that, but there's a 17,000 sellout and there's a 20,000 sellout. Tonight's a 20,000 sellout. That 3,000 makes a difference. It's going to take you longer to get in. It's going to take you longer to park. It's going to take you longer to do everything. Yeah. So get there early. Make sure you're in your seats by at least 6:45 to catch my pregame show.
Right. And again, the home teams have been dominant so far in the postseason. So
yes.
And what do they say? The series doesn't start until somebody wins on the road.
Yeah, wins on the other team's ice. So. And same thing in the NBA playoffs. So, So has it started? Look, you got to win. The problem is now you got to win 4 out of 5. It's not impossible. The Lightning have done it twice in their history. So it's possible, but obviously tonight is a must-win game, and they're not that far off. They're just not. This is not like the Rangers Caps series. This is not like.
I was a lot more encouraged from the other game because that was just a back and forth affair the other night. It was kind of what we were expecting with the series, especially that late second period where both teams were just going back and forth. And Bob's making great saves. Vasilevsky's making great saves. But I guess we have to just say it now. Like they can't go to overtime. We have to keep the game from going to overtime because this team, they just run out of gas in overtime. That's what I'm noticing. It's like they can't play longer than 60 minutes. They just cannot do it.
So their last overtime win was the 5 OT win, I think.
Is that it? Because I know they've lost 10 of 11, right? 10
of 11, yeah.
They probably have one in between there. But, yeah, they must have I don't know what they sacrificed to win all those OT games in those 2 postseasons, but they made a deal with the devil or something. Because
yes, they have.
They just can't get one now. They can't even get the puck in overtime.
Yeah. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott. Appreciate you jumping in. Recon Scott, guys on WDAE admitted they're watching the draft over the Lightning. First of all, how do you – it's a freaking playoff game. It's a freaking playoff game. And the Bucks don't pick till 26. I mean, we'll talk about the top of the draft today because I think it's interesting. But I'm not watching the draft while I have a playoff game in front of me.
I got so many. I am loaded down tonight, JP. I got a little bit of an issue too. We got softball tonight at 7:30, which is at the most inconvenient time.
Well, you can't play. You can't play tonight. It's a playoff game. I'm
going to have it on in the dugout. I'm going to have it on in the dugout.
Well, you know what? You do have that opportunity.
So we got that going on. The Lightning play tonight, the NFL draft, and my Magic, who are also down 2-0 in their series. All those things are going on tonight. So I'm going to be loaded down like crazy.
The Magic, by the way, can you make a freaking 3? Can you make a 2? Can you make anything? God.
This is why I was so happy. Like the Rays finally won a game last night because I was like, all of my teams, all the teams here in this area are just letting you down. Yeah. They were letting you down like crazy.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Rays game here in just a minute, but I want to zero in on a playoff game, a playoff series with your biggest rival. I mean, my God, what are we doing here? James says the ref messed up on a goalie interference, but Bolts had so many chances, especially the double minor. Panthers this year just a little bit better. I still think something must be done about weak salary cap. Could you imagine this team without a salary cap? For Hagee, Yanni Gordon, Brian McDonough, Coleman, Marchessault.
Oh, Marchessault and Verhaeghe, the two that just slipped through the cracks, didn't they?
But I mean, we just had so much talent. I remember those players, and we're just like, holy.
Verhaeghe was on the first Cup team.
Yeah.
But he was just kind of like a fourth liner. Yeah. He really wasn't like nobody saw this coming out of him.
No. But interesting when guys get chances, what they do.
Right.
James also says, but Bolts keep turning the puck over. Panthers seem to play a cleaner game. Sergachev loss is huge. We're playing guys just called up from Syracuse. Panthers just a bit better. Doesn't mean we can't win. I mean, it's true. You look out there, it's Lilleberg and Crozier.
Yeah, but I got to tell you,
did you have that at the beginning of the season? Yeah, I thought he played well.
I thought he played well. I really thought Crozier played well, to be honest with you. In fact, I think the one that's been the most shocking to me defensively has been Dumba, if I'm going to be completely frank with you.
Is good or bad?
In a bad way. I think Dumba's been guilty of a little bit of a puck watching in this series.
I would agree with that. No, that was the Verhaeghe goal, right? That was on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can't remember
Backdoor.
who's the one that led. Was it? What are you talking about? The
And I
Verhaeghe goal
still-
in game 1, right?
Yeah.
Who let? I'm trying to remember who let Verhaeghe go, because the game-winning goal the other night in overtime, it was kind of a little bit of a bad bounce, and then Barkov got it to Verhaeghe. I was trying to remember who was the defenseman that was kind of right with Verhaeghe, but let him get by him.
Yeah, that was that's a scramble in front.
Little
It's hard
scramble in front, but
I mean, it's hard to fault people like, guy made a great pass, dug it out, made a great pass, and then Vasi's out of position. That's just a tough one. It's hard to put blame on that, but the Verhaeghe power play goal, that's the game winner, I'm pretty sure that was
one was Dumba.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Which the more I watched that, I saw the overhead angle, and I'm just in awe at the fact that he was started at like literally.
You got to see that, man.
And just came all the way around.
You got to see that.
Didn't even notice it.
Come on, you got to see that. And then I know I'm in the minority on this, and I never played hockey, but for God's sakes, you got to bury that puck. You got an open net. I know Bobrovsky's Supermaning. I get it, but for Christ's sake,
he did everything he was supposed to do, though.
It seemed lackadaisical. Even at the first blush, I was like, he didn't whack at it. He just kind of like.
It was a little. I will give you that. It was a little like, oh, I'm gonna just shuffle this one up top,
right?
Like,
which is probably the way you need to be, because if you freak out, you miss the whole thing. But
right, and he got it off the
ice,
and that's what they tell you in those situations. You need to get it up, and he did.
No,
but if he would have just slid it across the ice, it would have gone right in. But
Ryan McDonough buries that puck. That's what
I'm just saying. By the way, maybe this is the homer in me. I appreciate the save that Bobrovsky made, but I thought there were 3 to 4 other saves that Vasilevsky made.
Yeah,
where I said, you know what, that one took more skill.
Right.
Than what Bobrovsky did.
Yeah, there was a one pad save that Vasi made in the third period.
Yeah. Did you see the heat map of their shots?
Yes.
Like, there were so many right in front of him, and he was so locked in all night.
Yes. And that's what scares you a little bit. If Vasi is not, if he's just a tick off, it could get ugly. It could get ugly because we've not defended well. We've just not defended well. That's true. Nathan says most of Tampa sports teams have bandwagon fan bases. If the teams are not expected to win, they do not support the team. Bolt fans do not think the Lightning will win.
Retweet.
Wow.
I tend to agree.
You think Bolt fans have given up on this team? I don't believe that.
I don't think they've given up. I agree with the overall point that this market can sometimes be a little flaky as a fan base. So we've had that talk about the Bucks and getting, outnumbered by other teams' fan bases.
That's inarguable. We are not.
And part of that plays
we're
to
not
the market
Philly,
that we
we're
are.
not New York.
It's just the market.
There's a lot of good in that. There's a lot of good in that. I don't want to be the team that beats up grandma because she's wearing the wrong jersey. I don't want to be the team, the fan base that throws batteries disguised as snowballs at Santa Claus. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be those people. I don't want to be Rangers fans knocking out Lightning fans. I don't want to be those people. But I do want to be Steelers fan. I do want to be Chiefs fan. I want to be a passionate fan base that welcome. Clemson does a great job of it. You welcome in the opponent, but you smother them with your fandom when you get into that arena. You smother them.
Like
I don't. If we're being honest,
this is my point. Like when you hear like the Lightning have this incredible sellout streak, and that's great. But do you ever hear anybody when they do these polls across the league, or do you ever hear anybody in general from another team go, "Man, Tampa's a tough place to play. I hate playing there." Like even though it's full, I don't think it ever gets as loud anywhere close to some of these other places. And maybe again,
I would agree. We have moments of energy.
We have moments, but it's not sustained.
It's not sustained like you see other places.
That's just my observation.
Like I remember being in Montreal, 2004 when the Lightning were there, and I remember you sit up in the rafters. There's like a catwalk up top where the press go, and every time they touch the puck, like every time even in their defensive zone, once they the outlet pass is made, okay, the whole crowd rises. When they're skating up the ice with the puck, it doesn't matter the score. It doesn't matter the situation. When they have the puck and the entire arena stands up and they just start cheering. There's a lift of energy that comes up when they touch the puck. And I don't want to bang on Lightning fans, but I would just love to see that tonight.
Yeah. Well,
I would just love to see every time when we get the puck and we start. You heard it in Florida on games 1 and 2.
Right.
You could discernibly hear it when they broke out with the puck. The crowd
rumble.
came. There's a rumble. There's a rumble. That's the word. There's a rumble. I want a rumble.
Yeah.
And when we get the puck and we're moving it up, I want to rumble.
Yeah. And you brought up Montreal. Like, I don't even want to compare them to the Canadian markets that are like live and die by this sport. But I'm just saying, like, I watched Florida be very into it. Carolina, known as one of the toughest buildings to play in. Nashville, they're nuts. Like some of these comparable markets that you are, I feel like they're just falling short of that. And it's the playoffs now, and you're down 2-0, and the crowd makes a difference. Those guys want to hear it.
If not now, when?
Tonight.
If not now, when?
Correct.
If not now, when? We're a late arriving crowd. We're not up to snuff. And I hate doing that because I think Lightning fans are amongst the most loyal. They've spent gazillions of dollars 7 years in a row of playoff tickets.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about Lightning Nation, about we are the Thunder. It's been amazing. But tonight, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. It becomes suffocating to the opponent when it's constant, when it's just constant roars, one right after another. Get the puck. It energizes your team. If not now, when? This team needs you tonight, Lightning Nation. Let's go. Let's be the Thunder. Let's
LFG.
be the
LFG.
Thunder. Right. We got to have it tonight. And I'm afraid, we're going to see a lot of Panthers jerseys because, this happened in the finals a couple of years ago when we lost the first two, right? It was it just like there was, Lightning fans were selling their tickets. Oh, we're done. I don't know. Tonight I want to see. I don't want to see Panthers unis, but we're going to see them. But I just want to see that rumble every time we get the puck. Every time we get the puck, stand up and get the rumble going. Here we go. All right, and that like it builds on itself. It builds on itself. And when you get a sustained, if you're in their zone for more than 30, 45 seconds, stand up, start cheering. That puts the pressure on the defense. They hear it. It becomes suffocating. They make mistakes. You get a goal. That's the home ice advantage. And the Lightning need to have it tonight. They got to have it tonight. Yeah. Because are they outmanned?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, it truly is. It's win or go home. I know that the series won't be technically over, but you can't go down 3-0. And some will tell you that being down 2-0 is already a death sentence. And I might be leaning that way, to be honest with you. But to go down 3-0, that's insurmountable against this team. So you have to exhaust everything tonight. Everything that this team has left in them has to be exhausted tonight to keep this series alive. And that goes for the fan base as well. So excited to see what happens.
All right, we're going to take our first break. We're going to come back. I want to get to some of the comments here on the fandom around here. I think it's an interesting conversation. We're going to hear from John Cooper. We're going to get to the Rays. Big win last night for the Rays. Boy, did they need that one in a big way. A lot of good things happened last night. Some bad things as well, but a lot of good stuff happened. We'll get to the top of the draft where the moving and shaking is going to come up. Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11:30 live from the morning skate. We'll talk to him about the crowd and how that helps them. So much more coming your way. We're brought to you by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. I got my watermelon elderberry going this morning. Absolutely delicious. None of the bad stuff. Only 5 calories. All the benefits we talk about. And the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Go with the local firm that knows the local landscape of the legal folks around here. That's important. We heard Scott Jeeves talk about that the other day. You got some of these other bigger firms that advertise a lot. Go with the local firms that know the landscape around here. That's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank. And I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta. Big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation. And that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to Synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits, folks. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com, tryhydrateheroes.com. You'll get a 3-pack sample for free. They'll send it to you. Just get your nice little shaker bottle, put it in there, shake it on up, and you get the great benefits of vitamin D, potassium, all those great electrolytes, amla fruit, which is a great superfood, all the good stuff that's in here. And it really, really helps you hydrate. It's made me feel better. My joint pain has definitely decreased, and that comes with good hydration. So I have about 3 or 4 of these a day, and the watermelon elderberry is fantastic, by the way. The plum elderberry, also very good. Try all the different flavors. It's tryhydrateheroes.com. They'll give you a 3-pack for free. So check it out. There you go. Free. Check it out. Free is good. Free is good for me, and I'll take 3. As we always say. All right, we got game 3 tonight. Want to hit the Rays a little bit here, boss. Big win last night. Randy Arozarena getting off the schneid a little bit, got a hanging curveball and did not miss it for his 3rd home run, 1st of April, right? 25 days. 25 days, no home runs. That's not going to work out too well. Joey Cowboy last night getting things going with a stolen base. We get an RBI. Rosario had an RBI. Davinsky, your favorite, gives up the lead again. So the bullpen, after Tyler Alexander pitched really good against his old mates, he's been a nice find.
Yeah, he's starting to find a groove now.
Yeah, he's starting to pitch with some confidence and find the strike zone early on. And this happens with guys that come to the Rays, right? The first few starts can be a little rocky because they still don't trust their stuff. You know, Kyle Snyder is all about throw the damn ball over the plate. Trust your stuff. Trust your stuff. Trust our scouting. Hit your locations. Trust your stuff. But when you've pitched a certain way your entire life, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. But once they force you to do it and you start having some success, you're like, oh, okay, my stuff's pretty good. I can do this. And let's see, he's a soft tosser. He's not blowing anybody away. But that works in this league now with so much hard stuff. When guys see guys like him, it's a hard adjustment. And, you don't want him going through the lineup the 3rd time for the most part. But, he can be effective doing what he does. And he's been a nice piece. Now, the bullpen is still, at this point, a disaster. We haven't even talked about Fairbanks. I mean, where is he right now? We have nerve issues in our fingers. And, that's not a specific suck. That's an all-encompassing suck, if I can borrow a phrase from him. When you can't feel your fingers, that's not a good thing if you're a closer relief pitcher. And trying to find the right, I think he used the word cocktail. They're trying to find some type of nerve medicine that's going to make him get feeling back again. This seems like a crapshoot.
This is why it's hard to trust. You can't trust Pete Fairbanks as your closer at this point. There's just too many weird things. He can't pitch in the cold. The baseball has to be perfect for him. Like, there's just too many odd things. Like, I don't want to pile on to him because when he's out there and he has all these things right, he's as good as there is in the league. But
is this true?
I feel like I don't want to speak out of line about something so serious, but I do think I might have seen something about this.
For those on the radio or the podcast, Thomas Casper says Fairbanks' daughter apparently died earlier this year. Did that? I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't heard, but I feel like I might have seen something going around.
I feel like an a-hole talking about, and I'm not speaking poorly of the guy. It's a terrible situation. This is nothing personal against him. And when we said we can't trust him, it's because of his health. It's not a personal thing. So I just want to make sure we know that we're not ripping the dude. We're ripping the situation. This is bad. And I mean, if you're the Rays, you should have had a contingency for this. I think is your point, right?
Well, here's the thing. So far, Jason Adam has been the 2022 version of Jason Adam. That was lockdown, lights out. So there's a guy right there that's already taking that void. And then Garrett Clevenger's gotten 2 saves.
Yeah.
In the past 4 to 5 games here, going back to that last Saturday's Yankee game. And he looked good last night too, locking it down.
There was a close call there. There was a bomb hit down the left field line.
Yeah, if the ball, I don't care. I don't care. I see zeros across the board.
Right, absolutely.
But yeah, Adam and Clevenger, I think are your 8-9 for the moment, and I feel good about that. Those 2 guys have been the best of the bunch in this bullpen, which I thought has been getting better. I know Poche had not a great outing the other night either. But yeah, I think Jason Adam, he's already got 7 holds so far this year. That's great. And now Clevenger has slotted into that, getting some save opportunities. I like that. So I feel good about the back end of the bullpen. It's just getting to those guys that I think is always going to be scary. And Davinsky, I don't know what else needs to be seen. He's just not a major league pitcher at this point. It's been like 5 years since he's been an effective major leaguer. I don't know what the Rays are holding on to him for.
He's
they
cheap.
got guys in AAA that can come in and that are a lot more effective. We used to have a stable of guys that were throwing 98, 99,
That's
and
right.
now we got a stable throwing 91, 92 and trying to spin everybody. So I'm still getting used to that. But beyond that, let's talk about the offense because
Scored 7 last night.
it hasn't helped the bullpen, I don't think, that they've had so much pressure situations because we're playing in so many close games because the offense is not doing anything. And last night was like sort of a get-right game for a lot of guys. I think everybody got a hit in the lineup except for Palacios.
Yeah,
11
Yandy
hits total.
Yandy had a good night. Yandy's starting to square it up.
Yeah, Yandy is starting to square him up. I know Randy struck out 3 times still, but he needed to see the ball, number one, land. And in this case, obviously go over the wall.
Yeah.
So that's great for him. And Ben Rortvedt is now hitting 333, by the way. He's just mashing it beyond the plate. And
Gotta be
Jose
playing every day.
Cowboy stealing another base, getting on
Fantastic.
base. I wish they had like 8 of those guys. So a lot of positive in Meade, who I looked it up, by the way. It only would have been a home run in Tropicana Field.
I knew it.
And it was only, and he hit it only like 85 off the bat. That's it.
And he's like, oh, what a relief. I finally got my first home run. And he's been pressing a lot.
He has been. And he needs to step up because without Brandon Lau, it's like he has to play almost every day. And, you know, you can only hang your hat on what you did in AAA for so long. So it was good to see
at this point, you know, it could it have, I mean, they're 13-13.
Right.
No Brandon Lau, no Josh Lowe. Your closer is MIA.
You got a whole rotation. You got a whole rotation on IL.
Yeah. I mean, whole rotation on IL. Siri's been just god awful.
Right.
You know, Palacios has been okay. I think he's been
the new guys. Rortvedt, Palacios, Jose have been good.
Rosario.
I
mean, he's freaking your MVP at this point. So, and the starting staff has been better than we thought.
Yeah. Pepio was great the other night.
Yeah, Pepio's been fantastic. So now you're like, okay, let's get the bullpen. I think they always find a way, right? They always find a way. And I think you're going to have to, I agree with you. You start moving on from some people here and start trying some other people. Start, you know, bringing guys up because what you got right now ain't working. And then, you know, offensively, Josh Lowe is at AAA, right? So he's getting closer to coming back.
And they're going to give him a good amount of time because remember, he didn't get a spring training. So we got to be a little patient. I think you'll probably see him maybe the first week of May, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a huge lift. There's no doubt about that.
If he's good. You know, he's not to a point in his career now where we're like, oh, you know, Trout's back. Let's go. You know, he's back from it. This guy's got one year of good baseball. 1 year. He's young.
He's got a very unique skill set though for this lineup.
But we can't by any means say, oh, you know, Lowe's back. Here's 30 home runs in the no. I'm more like when people say like, oh, Aranda's coming with him. That's where I'm like, okay, hold up. When has Jonathan Aranda ever produced at the major league level? He's done nothing.
Right.
We think he's going to be good, but he's done nothing until he does something at the major league level.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be a lot worse given the way they've played 13-13 at this point. I think every team in the AL East is still over 500, by the way. The Rays are in last place and they're 13-13. If you think about it, like it's tough sledding, but I think to the point, you probably win more of these games if Yandy and Randy were going. Because when you start picking the lineup apart, like we just kind of said, like Paredes has been consistent all year long.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Rosario. We talked about Rortvedt. We talked about Caballero. And Palacios has had his moments. But there's like 4 or 5 guys right there that have actually been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So it's not the whole lineup that's a funk. It's just the 2 guys that were at the top who are supposed to
stayed there the entire month.
That were killing you. And so in theory, those guys start producing like they've been doing for the last 4 or 5 seasons, and you could have a nice little nucleus of something here. But 13-13 at this point, I don't think we should overreact too much. I think that's kind of what the plan was stay around 500 until you get some of these guys back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'll say it again. They played their C- game, and they're 13-13. They played some bad teams though too. Their schedule's been easy and a lot of it at home, and they're not winning at home. So a lot of this may catch up with you a little bit later on. Recon Scout says rather see Armstrong out of the pen rather than opening. I agree. Because he hasn't been great opening. Gave up a run last night. I think he gave up a run his last game as an opener.
Yeah, he has been a little shaky in that spot. But
so yeah, I agree.
But I don't think
Cash
they're going to
been
be
a little bit. I feel like in years past he did more moving and shaking. Like this year seems like he's throwing out the same lineup. Letting the starters go longer leash, which I know is part of the plan. They're trying to, we've been bitching about this for so long, and it's 100% true. You cannot, when you get to the postseason, your bullpen is gassed every freaking year because you've used them up during the regular season. So they're trying to address that, which is good. But it's also, how's that going to affect you in the regular season? Right.
Yeah. I was going to say, and I think I alluded to this maybe on Monday's show, Kevin Cash, we've praised him for a lot of his jobs he's done as a manager. And we're only 26 games in, but yeah, it's been a little odd.
Yeah.
Kevin's been a little odd. And I feel like they had like a new philosophy this year where they knew that they were putting too much wear and tear of their bullpen. Like they finally realized that.
Exactly.
And so they were going to try to let guys go longer. But again, it's been pretty inconsistent. Like there's been some games where that's been true. And then he keeps like Savali in his last start. He ends up going past 100 pitches and he's in way too long. And then there's other games where Eflin's cruising through 6 and he's taken out after like 78 pitches.
Yeah.
And so it's been a little inconsistent from that standpoint. I've already mentioned Davinsky. I don't know why he still keeps coming in. And then the management of the lineup.
I heard Cash talk yesterday about Davinsky, and he thinks he's really good.
Oh, well, we'll hear from him in a second. And the other thing, too, that I was going to say about the lineup, again, I'm a big proponent of you got 26 guys on the roster, and the Rays have always been this way. You got 26 guys. We're going to use all 26 guys.
Not this
year. And I look at the lineup, and this is weird to me. So Austin Shenton, he was a good story, and he makes the team out of camp, right? He's got 23 plate appearances this year through 26 games. And what if I told you he hit 350 with a 650 slug against right-handed pitching in 2023? Albeit in AAA.
What are we doing?
But I'm just saying, what else is he doing? What's he doing up here? If you're not going to play him ever, especially when you're facing a lot of righties.
It's not the Rays way. Like
that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. Like I'd like to see him get some more consistent at bats than, like, for example, Harold Ramirez being in there every single day. I'd rather see Harold, obviously against lefties, but against righties, let's get Shenton in there a little bit. He's on the roster. Let's see what he's got.
It makes sense to me. It's been a curious year in a lot of different ways, and you always wonder what the hell's going on at the top. So I saw an article in the Times today about, the benefits of the new Rays deal. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't even read it. Couldn't even read it before the show. I'm like, I'm not even gonna go there. But whatever. This has been a weird year. And I don't know what's going to happen in May, but April's been odd in a lot of different ways. It just doesn't seem like the same approach that the Rays have had. And maybe they're tweaking some things and you haven't won a World Series. So the bullpen thing, I'm all for. You can't burn out your bullpen during the regular season. Yeah. But this seems like a weird year to do it because you got all these arms hopefully joining the staff at midseason, right? Springs and Rasmussen are expected back. McClanahan's not, but I think we've got 3 or 4 guys that we expect to get back.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how that's all going to work out when Springs and Rasmussen. I mean, Rasmussen, I will say he's going to come back later, I think, and I wouldn't be opposed. What if Rasmussen for this year only comes back and they put him in the bullpen?
Goes back to the bully.
Just for this year. Yeah. Just for this year, because I'm just thinking, because you already have, and this is called cross your fingers.
Then you don't have to stretch him out.
Right. This is cross your fingers on guys staying healthy, by the way, in the rotation.
Yeah.
Okay. But
which doesn't
already have Eflin, Savale, Littell, and Pepio. Those 4 have been pretty consistent so far.
And Tyler's been good. Alexander's been good.
And Alexander's been good. I don't know if Alexander's going to be in that role much longer. It depends what they want to do with Taj Bradley when he gets back. And we'll see what Shane Baz, if he's going to go straight to AAA.
We got some arms on the way.
They have a surplus of arms is what I'm saying. So that's going to be really curious to see how that works out, provided all these guys are healthy.
All right, let's you want to hear the Let's do the Arozarena home run in Spanish. You say this is good. I haven't heard it yet. So
Yeah, I found this morning, and of course, I love our Bally broadcast and the radio broadcast, but I saw the Spanish one, and I thought it was pretty electric. So let me pull it up here.
There we go.
Pegada
Vamos.
para Randy. Batazo por el left field. Hacia atrás. La bola se va elevando. Ábrame la puerta porque me voy. ¡Bum! Adiós, dice Zamora. Sí, señor gigante, señor.
Bueno,
ahí está lo prometido para mí, señor. Vamos.
That was outstanding. Can
I
I
thought
get
he,
some
like,
translation on that?
I wish I had translation. Like I could have used a little subtitle underneath,
Yeah.
but just I look like he like broke out. It's like a little bit of a song there.
Yeah.
In the middle part, a little jingle.
I love the rolling of the R's.
roll.
Adios.
Heard
That's singing.
Right. Heard
I
some
mean,
seniors in there.
Yeah.
I got those words, but I think I missed most of the other ones.
I heard adios. I heard left field. I heard they just say left field. There's no what's left? Izquierda? Or is that right?
Listen, I've taken like
Man,
4 semesters of Spanish in my life, and I still couldn't tell you.
My está Susana en casa. It's been a while since my Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 in high school. All right, let's listen to Cash after last night's exhilarating 7-5 comeback win.
Kind of needed a game like that where you get out to an early lead and then show the ability to come back?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, I don't know what we had, 10, 11 hits, but ended up needing all of them. It was nice to see Randy get a hold of one there to tie it back up early in the ball game, but we did have some good at-bats, and, Flaherty, I thought we had a pretty good approach. It was fastball slider, and then he did a nice job of making an adjustment, mixing curveballs and stuff that kind of kept us off balance, but we got to the early lead, and I thought Tyler threw the ball really well.
But first extra base hit of the seasons, and
yeah,
tie-breaking home runs, got to feel pretty good for him.
Really good. Congrats to him, and felt really good for us in the moment for sure. Curtis, I think I said the other day, I feel like his intent at the plate has gotten better while we were in New York. Sometimes the results don't immediately come with that, but he's looking to do damage and drive balls, and it's nice when you get rewarded, and for him to get that big hit he's got to be feeling good.
Similar for Randy in the first, pulling a ball the way that he did.
Yeah, I don't want to make too much of pulling Oppo. I could care less where he hits the ball. Just be Randy and hit the ball out of the ballpark or off the wall, whatever. And anytime a hitter's going through, some struggles at the plate, when you come up there and hit a ball right on the screws like Randy did today, like Yandy did today, they're feeling all right going into an off day.
I'd say that looked a lot more like Yandy, too, taking the ball the other way as well as he did.
Yeah, I mean, look, he lined out, it felt like 2-3 times this series, kind of his patented double. They had him positioned really well, but you keep hitting them hard like that, they're going to fall.
How big were Ben's 2 big hits?
He's been pretty incredible for us. I mean, a guy that we acquired that what we really liked his defense, and everything that we could get offensively was an added bonus, but the way that he comes up with guys on base, it seems like every series he is impacting us with a big RBI knock. I mean, just appreciate his efforts. They were huge tonight.
Kevin Chersin giving up a run in his last 7 appearances, and with Adam, it's 10 and 11. Are they giving you this kind of stability that you'd hope for in the back end?
Yeah, I think so. Look, we did something with JA today that we don't really like to do that or draw it up that way with 2 innings, but given where we were at from a bullpen and usage and management, felt like our best way to win that game was to send him back out for the 2nd inning, and then Clev came in and got pretty nasty for those 2 guys, and then got the fly out to Green.
We were kind of asking before what could shake this team a little bit. Can answering when you blow a lead, then you come back like that, can that kind of help a team get going?
Yeah, I we'll take anything right now, but for sure. But I appreciate the question. That, I mean, when you got a lead and they come back or they take the lead and then you find a way to win, right. I mean, those feel pretty special. I mean, get the guys fired up.
Kim, I was going to ask you before the game, you talked about putting up crooked numbers to kind of jumpstart the offense. Do you see that happening tonight?
I did. I mean, we've had some quiet nights, and it's been a struggle battle for us to get big innings going. But felt like we had some pretty big innings for ourselves. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and then Meade's big 2-run homer there.
And Davinsky, the last 2 outings, have you seen something different? It seemed like he had kind of put some good ones together.
Yeah, I think that he's still searching a little bit for the rhythm, but the stuff is playing well. Kyle and I actually talked about it after his outing. He got the quick outs, then they put together some good at bats. That's going to happen. I know he needs to feel a couple clean innings to get himself going. Very similar to maybe some of the offensive players need to feel a couple big at bats.
There's
disagree with Mr. Cash on that one.
Which one?
On Davinsky. He needs to put some clean. I'm just gonna put a reminder out there that Chris Davinsky's ERA from 2018 to now is 5.40. Okay,
that's not good.
I'm just putting that out there. And that 2018, I was a freshman in college. Okay, and I'm about to be 25.
Has it been better lately?
That's a long stretch. Huh?
And this year, numbers this year?
It's a 7.71.
Oh, okay.
In 9 games. 5 home runs, by the way. He's given up 5 home runs.
Would you rather see Sean Armstrong in that position last night than starting the game? Yes.
Yes, I would.
Yes. So flip-flop those guys. I don't mean maybe Davinsky's not a
No. Davinsky needs to get,
just gone.
DFA.
Yeah. Bye-bye. I'm not going to disagree. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll tell you the status of one Sam Bennett for tonight. Who's on the ice? Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11:30 live from Morning Skate. Saw some pictures already. They got bolts spelled out. I guess T-shirts are on the seats and everything. They're sold spelled out before the folks get in there, which is nice. We got a show for you tonight. Trust me, we have got a show for you tonight on Lightning Vision. Game presentation. John Franzone's got some great stuff cooked up. Get there early. All right, we're brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. If you have a business meeting, a charity event, big birthday coming up, big celebration, graduation, you want to do something special, Extravaganza Productions can help you. Have a creative meeting with them. They're doing things that you've never even thought of possible. Find out what the budget is, all that good stuff. They'll give you a whole tour of their great prop department in the back. So just give them a call. Tell them JP Peterson sent you. Extravaganzaproductions.com. Back in 3.
Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you are thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this draft day Thursday. JP did not make it back in time here in the break, so watch for him to pop up here in a second. There he comes. Look at that. You missed it. You missed the cue.
Yeah, sorry, man. That was close. You know, it was a interesting night last night, watching a little Rays baseball. Went to the great Council Oak with a lot of my my buddies. It's the Palmacia member guest this week. So I'm not playing because of my lightning duties, but a bunch of my friends are in town. So I went to Council Oak last night. Took Hard Rock for a little bit of money on the way out. $20. I'll just say this. As you get older, steak dinners, you know, couple pops, that you just don't feel good the next day.
You don't recover as well.
Yeah. And you know, just it was amazing. We had a tomahawk steak. You know, it did a nice thing. We ordered for the table, right? So we ordered like a filet, a tomahawk steak, a ribeye, and they put it on a big chopping board and they slice it up for you. So we kind of put it in the middle of the table so you can kind of taste a little bit of each. Had some snow crab, which was really good. And then cream spinach, absolutely fantastic. A little bit of mashed potatoes, a little watery. I'd like my mashed potatoes a little bit more, a little heftier, so to speak.
Yeah,
a little heftier. But yeah, very, very well done evening at Council Oak. And then, you know, I didn't sit down to play blackjack last night like the boys were doing. I got to get back. I'm an old man. I can't stay out too late anymore.
I'm like that. You know, my friend, I didn't even tell you this. For UFC 300, we went out because we always do that for the big fight cards. And those are the only times I go out are for big fight cards. And I thought we were just going out, watch the card, and then we're gone. 1:30 at night, Pereira knocks out Hill. I'm tired as hell. I haven't even drank in like 2 hours because I'm so tired. I'm ready to go home. We get into the Uber.
Dude, you're so young.
I know.
At least I have an excuse.
I know, but I have like such a routine and I just cannot stay awake anymore. But anyway, I get in the Uber and I think we're going back to my buddy's apartment. And they're like, no, we're going to the casino. And I'm like, hold up. It's 2:00 in the morning and we're going to the casino now? You got me screwed up, man.
Oh, you're a young man. Come on.
We were at the casino till 4:15 in the morning. I didn't get home until almost 5:30.
Yeah.
I had work at noon. Awful day. Awful.
Well, I never play the slots because it's the worst odds. But I'm like, I'm on the way out and this one caught my eye. It was winking at me, Nick. It was winking at me. So I'm like, all right,
They're all winking at you.
It was winking at me. So I'm like, you know what? I see you. I see you over there in the corner. I see you. So I just dropped over a $20 bill, and I'm like, typically like ding, within a minute and a half, you're going to go through $20, right? Spin it. So boom, I get a little hit, brings me back to my level. I'm like, all right, I sat down with the 20. We'll get rid of the 20 here and just call it a night. So I'm about halfway through, and all of a sudden that thing starts dinging, baby. And I'm thinking, wow. And it doesn't stop. It's making noises I haven't heard before. Ching, chong, ding, dong, ring, ring, ring. Lights are flashing. I'm like, whoa. But you never know how much it's going to be, right? So it pops up and it says 700. So it's like $7, whatever. But it's a multiple, but you get to do the multiplier. So it's like a multiplier. You spin the wheel and you get the multiplier bonus. 100, 250, 250 times bonus, 100 times, but 500 times. So it'd be like 500 times 7, if you hit the 500 on the wheel, right? So I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's spin the bonus. It's going around. I'm looking 500. Let's go. 500. And it goes right because, this is how they do it to you. It goes right by the 500 to the 250, and it's slowing down. And I'm like, it's going to stop on 250. Ching. From 252, 3. 3 times bonus. All that racket and noise, I win $20. I'm like, I'm done with you.
Time to cash out and go home.
$20 I win. What are you? Big effing deal. So I'm like, whatever. I'm going home a winner. I'm cashing out. You're not going to get me. So I just went home with my measly $20. But it could have been a contender. I could have been in here
better than most.
I won $10,000 last night. No, not the case. Thank you, Hart. But it was fun, right? Fun for the 5 minutes. All right, back to hockey tonight, Game 3. We're going to get to the draft here in just a second. I want to get an update, though. Sam Bennett is out for tonight's game and maybe for the series. Took a puck off of a shot from his own player, a little friendly fire, and he said, Paul Maurice said he's going to be out at least the next couple of games, probably longer. Not broken, but looks like he's not going to be back for quite some time. So a little opening here for the Lightning. That's a big loss for the Panthers. So they're gonna run their lines this morning: Tarasenko, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Lundell, centering Matthew Tkachuk, Luosterainen, Stenlund, and Evan Rodriguez. Their fourth line: Ryan Lomberg, Steven Lorentz, Nick Cousins. Defensive pairings. This is Gus Forsling, by the way, has been fantastic.
He's one of the unsung players of this league.
So good. Aaron Ekblad, too. Ekblad has been amazing. Their top 2 defenders have really, really been good. That pairing right there. So, yeah, who else do they got there? Yeah, so that's your lineup for the Panthers tonight for Game 3. And Brian Bradley will tell us what's going on. No Cooch on the ice this morning. I saw that already. So, I mean, obviously he's playing tonight. No Vasilevsky, no Cooch at the morning skate. So, kind of interesting, right?
Nikita Kucherov's got to get his banana intake in and all that kind of stuff. His Nikita Chiquitas, I think they call them. So, you know how the Russians are.
Very particular.
Very particular about what they're going to do. So, I need him to bring it tonight. I need 86 to bring it tonight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, God. I mean, we didn't really touch on that as much, and we'll talk with Brian Bradley about this a little bit more. I don't see anything that the Panthers are doing. I don't think they've inordinately. If Game 1 he had a couple of extra hits. Game 2, I didn't see him like necessarily roughing up Kucherov. I see a bunch of careless passes. He looks a lot like early season Kucherov. And I don't know if he's pressing because it's the playoffs and he thinks he's got to do something superhuman every time he gets the puck. We don't need that. We just need regular Cooch is good enough. Regular Cooch is absolutely more than enough. So if he's pressing and he thinks he has to do more, John Cooper's got to get him in a good headspace and say, just go out there and play your game, brother. Because right now you're not doing it. 3 shots on goal in 2 games. The Lightning have had 42 shots on goal in 2 games.
I almost want him to shoot a lot more because I think he was chasing this assist thing at the end of the year.
I agree.
He got back into that pass happy type of thing, and I feel like he needs to get back to shooting the puck like he was doing throughout the mid part of the season.
All right, I wanted to get into a little bit of, obviously it is draft day. We've talked so much about the draft, but Where the Buccaneers at this particular point, nothing has really changed for them except what's happening in front of them, right? And I think everything you see about this draft it tells me that 6 quarterbacks are coming off the board before the Bucks pick at 26, and that's humongous. And I think the run on the quarterbacks is going to also probably give you a little bit of run on wide receivers as well, and it sets up really, really good for where the Bucks are. And I think they may be in. I never thought in my wildest dreams that Jared Verse would get even close to the Buccaneers, but I think there's going to be an opportunity for them to move up and get Jared Verse or maybe Leatu Latu. They might be able to get their edge rusher in the first round, and it's those 2 guys. The other guys are going to be gone, and after those 2 guys, there's a big drop off. I mean, you got the first one off the board is going to be the Alabama kid, Dallas Turner, probably to the Falcons at 8. You'd agree with that?
That's what every mock is telling me.
Yes.
They're all true. So,
yeah. So let's go through just real quick the Daniel Jeremiah. I kind of like him. We could pick any mock draft here, right? We've talked a lot about the Pewter Report. I think they do a hell of a job, especially when it comes to the Bucks. But Caleb Williams is going number 1 to the Bears. I think anything different from that would be a complete shock. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be my pick. I mean, if I'm the Bears, I'm going Jaden Daniels. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. Like I thought CJ Stroud was the best quarterback last year. I think Jaden Daniels' production in the SEC is undeniable. You got Caleb Williams in a bad defensively bad league. When he's played against better competition, he hasn't been all that great. He hasn't. I think I see too many flaws for him from a personality standpoint in terms of how that translates to the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback, but I'm just saying if I was the Bears, I would take Jaden Daniels, but they're not going to. So that leads Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. There's been the whispers of the Raiders coming up, but at this point, if those deals haven't happened, Nick, are they going to happen? Are the Raiders suddenly going to sweeten the pot?
Why would the Commanders, who have no quarterback, under new ownership, who clearly are here to make a splash and have the number 2 pick, and they'll say, you know what, we're going to move down to 13.
And the best quarterback in the draft is falling to you, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you're not even stuck with Caleb Williams. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. Under Snyder, maybe they do something stupid and different. Or under Rivera, but I think they stick and stay and they take Jaden Daniels. I agree with that. Now, at number 3, I think it does get interesting. The Patriots are under a new regime, obviously. Drake May is, he has his detractors. There's some very good analysts in this league that think that he's a little sloppy with the football, that just from a toughness standpoint, he may not be at that NFL level. So I don't know, but the Patriots need a quarterback. So what are they doing? I think it could be JJ McCarthy. I do think they could go off the Drake May bandwagon and go JJ McCarthy. And I still think there's a possibility they could trade out. But
yeah,
I'm
not convinced.
I stay.
This could go 3 different ways. And number 1 is you just stay put and you take Drake May. And by the way, the thing about Drake May, he did not have the best talent around him. That's very true, as some of these other quarterbacks did. In fact, all these quarterbacks that are going in the first round had much more talent to work with than Drake May did. Absolutely. And North Carolina had a very gimmicky offense, and he had to overcome a lot. But Drake May, I see talent when I see talent. He'll hone it in. You hone it in a little bit, and he'll be a really good pro. So the Patriots could just stay put and take him. I've said this before, and I don't think this is a bad thing. They signed Brissett, who's like the perfect bridge guy for any organization, clearly. And I don't know. In my opinion, you need weapons in this league. And if you take a Drake May and he starts day 1 or whatever, I don't know what he's working with there in New England necessarily. And you got 2 generational receivers, as far as I'm concerned, that are sitting on the board. And if there was an idea of just trading out a few picks back, getting more talent, because that roster is in bad shape. That's the worst roster in the NFL. And that's my point against taking a quarterback right now, where you can go get one of those top 2 receivers and get more draft capital in the back. So I think this is where the draft begins, potentially, is right here.
So the Raiders, the Vikings have what? They have 11 and
23, I want to
11
say.
and 23. And you could come away, if you're the Patriots, with 11, 23, and maybe even pick up a second or third rounder as
You'll
well.
pick up something else too.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you could, if you're the Patriots, and I think the Giants may also be in this situation as well. But I think the Patriots definitely could be in this situation because I think they would trade up, and you could stick and stay and get Drake May, okay, or you could trade out, and I think you could get Michael Penix, and I think you could get your taste of the third best receiver in the draft. Fair?
I have a feeling Penix is going to go in the top 15. So I would probably.
But you'd be at 11. You'd be at 11.
Right, but you can't get one of the top 3 receivers and Penix under that.
No, you would have 11 and 23. Right?
Yeah, but at 23, you're going to get at best the 4th best receiver, and there's a big drop off after the top 3. There just is.
Mm-hmm.
The top 3 are in their own tier. It's deep, but it's the top 3 are in their own tier.
I think it goes probably the top. I'd say the top 2 are in their own tier. I think after that, 3 to 7. Let me go get to the. Yeah, I think Thomas. I'm trying to see who else is going to go up top there, and he's got Penix going 13 to the Raiders. So I think he would still be there.
My thing is I'm not as high on a Thomas. I'm not as high on Xavier Worthy as it seems a lot of these mock guys are. Yeah, I'm more in, and even a lot of people are really not sold on Keon because Keon's separation on film is not great.
Yeah.
But like Lad McConkey's of the world, I love him. Those are the guys that I think are better.
I think you could get, if you're the Patriots, and like you said, that roster needs a lot of explosiveness, and it needs I think you could get Penix and a really good receiver, and maybe even pick up and pick up an extra second rounder as well, and in a very, very deep draft. I think you could come away with 3 of the top 40 picks in this draft, 42 picks, and really remake your roster. Get a quarterback of the future who might be the best one. I mean, how many times have we, all these top 3 quarterbacks? Okay, Pat Mahomes wasn't top 3 quarterback. I mean, we could say that a bunch about a lot of different guys. So I think getting more picks right now, if you're some of these teams that their rosters are so bereft, and I would put the Patriots in that realm.
Yeah.
All right, at 4, the Cardinals. You got your quarterback. You got to get a dominant receiver. I think it's Marvin Harrison Jr. It just is.
Him or Neighbors, whoever you feel is better. It's easy.
And then at 5, the Chargers and Harbaugh. Jeremiah has him picking J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama.
Man, that would be. I personally think that'd be a disaster. Yeah, and I think it's a disaster.
You could trade back with 2 other teams, get 2 first-round picks, and become a better team, better overall team.
In my opinion, if Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors is on the board at 5, I don't give a damn who's trying to trade up with you. If you're the Chargers, you just take it. You just take one of them. Yeah. I think it's malpractice if you don't take one of those guys, and especially if one of them's there and you still go tackle. I think that's malpractice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
you're not building a team for the NFL 10 years ago, Jim. Who's Justin Herbert throwing the football to?
He wants to get more physical in the run game.
That's cool. Who's Justin Herbert, who you're paying $60 million a year? Who's he throwing the football to?
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
you got to get a receiver.
I understand that.
I agree. Giants at 6. Jeremiah just got Malik Neighbors falling to him there. I don't see. If I'm the Giants, you got to get a quarterback.
This is so JJ.
You got to get a quarterback, right?
They have.
You don't have a freaking quarterback. You screwed up with Daniel Jones. So if you don't take a quarterback here, what are you doing? What are you doing at quarterback? You're putting all your eggs in that basket? I mean, does anybody think that cat's ever going to be anything at this point? Daniel Jones, he was overdrafted. He's had some moments, but he's just not the guy. He's fragile, and he doesn't have the mentality to be a dog, in my opinion. Either they have screwed him up or he just never was. But either way, you got to go get a quarterback if you're the Giants. I don't even think this is.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And
this got to be, if J.J. McCarthy is on the board there, you take him.
Yeah, and it depends what Minnesota does, right? Minnesota's the whole wild card in this whole situation that could really ruin the draft for the Giants.
Right.
Well, not ruin it, but it'll make it to where they might want to trade out then too. If 4 quarterbacks go off the board before the Giants pick, I don't know if they're going to force a quarterback pick then, and they might trade out.
Yeah. And then the Tennessee Titans at 7 look like Joe Alt, Notre Dame offensive tackle. They got it. They don't have any tackles. They got to go tackle there. And if both of those guys are gone, they may be trading out, and then things get interesting with Penix and Bo Nix in the mix. The Falcons picked Dallas Turner, the first defensive player to come off the board, the best edge rusher in the draft. I hope they screw this up, but I don't think
my
they
number
will.
1 edge.
Who do you got?
I love Latu. I know the medical is going to tell the story with Latu, but for my money, he's the second best defensive player in the entire draft, and I think he's the number 1 edge.
All right, then the Bears pick at 9. Could be Fashanu at tackle, according to Daniel Jeremiah. He's got him going tackle at number 9. They have 4 picks. However, if they do stay at 9, he writes, I expect this will be a selection to support Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
I think
I like
Rome
Rome.
Odunze there. Yeah, I like Rome Odunze there to help him out. I think you got to help Caleb Williams out.
Caleb Williams would have the best supporting cast of any number 1 pick of all time. If I
didn't know this, Fashanu would be Caleb Williams' high school teammate.
Yeah, they got I did. I remember that. He has been kind of talking about Fashanu that he'd want him too. So,
well, I don't care what Caleb wants. If you want to play with everybody wants to play with their high school teammate. And they got the Jets going to Odunze at that point. I think he's going to be gone, and I think they would go.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, a lot of people have him taking Brock Bowers, and if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I heard people saying, I saw something on SportsCenter today, they devalued the tight end position. I think no, ask Aaron Rodgers. No, and to me that's a great fit there. The Vikings then would have J.J. McCarthy sitting there at 11 and don't even have to trade up. Wow, that would be a dream come true for the Vikings
under Jeremiah's mock, right?
Yeah, that's Jeremiah's. I don't think J.J.'s last until 11. I don't see that happen. He's got the Eagles taking an offensive tackle, Fuaga from Oregon State. That's great.
Trading up with the Broncos.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, trading back with the Broncos. They're not taking JPJ, even though the Eagles need a center. Sal Pal said they're not drafting a center in the first round, so I'm not worried about the Eagles taking a center at any point. But they need to replace Lane Johnson, so they take a tackle there. I don't see how Philadelphia jumps up here. How do the Denver Broncos not draft Michael Penix or Bo Nix if he's on the board?
To me, it seems like the Broncos really love Bo Nix, and he seems like a good fit for Sean Payton.
Right.
But do the Broncos want to take Bo Nix at 12? Yeah.
You need a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback. Zach Wilson is not the quarterback.
Right, but you might be able to trade back because listen, I don't think the Raiders are taking Bo Nix. The Saints aren't taking a QB. Neither are the Colts. Neither are the Seahawks, Jags, what do you call it? Bengals, Rams, Steelers, Dolphins. Like none of those teams are probably taking a quarterback.
That's true.
So
but the Raiders could jump up.
Yeah, I mean there could be a team that jumps back in or something for Bo Nix that they love him. But I mean, if I were Denver, I can love Bo Nix all I want, but I'm not touching him at 12. No way.
All right. So the Seahawks are going corner, probably Terrion Arnold, according to JJ. Or Daniel Jeremiah, DJ. Jacksonville Jaguars going Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo. I think is the best corner in the draft. Byron Murphy, the second defensive tackle, goes to the Bengals at 18. He's got the Commanders picking at 19 with a projected trade with the Rams, taking Amarius Mims. The Steelers go Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. Hopefully they don't go center there. So the Dolphins take Jerzon Newton, the local guy. To replace Christian Wilkins. I think they get the best defensive tackle in the draft at 21.
I think it's the best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah. They get the Broncos moving down to 22 and taking Bo Nix with the Eagles pick. Then the Vikings, again, at 23, take Chop Robinson. Fine, you can have him. Then the Cowboys at 24, and Tim Ham has told us this, they love Graham Barton because he's got that center tackle versatility. So, yeah, folks, your Bucks, you're like, okay, this draft is coming our way. And I think this is happening tonight. Then the the Packers pick right before the Buccaneers, and they go Cooper DeJean.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right, folks. At pick number 26, without even having to move up, they got that third round pick in your back pocket. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select from your Florida State Seminoles the second best edge rusher in the draft, Jared Verse. And it is a party time at Raymond James Center Stadium.
That would be I haven't even thought about Jared Verse really, because I don't know. I mean, I know Derek Jeremiah is very locked in on what's going on. And the fact that he has Chop going 23 ahead of Verse and Latu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are mocking Chop to the Bucs. I'm not the biggest Chop fan at 26.
I don't think the Bucs like Chop. I don't think.
Well, I think they had him in for a visit. I want to say they had him in for a top 30.
Yeah, visits mean nothing.
He comes off as he's a freak athlete. I get that, but the production wasn't really there.
You got to have production, man.
I don't know. I like Verse and Latu way more. And if your board is sitting right there and Verse and Latu are there, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, who do you take? I take Verse because much cleaner.
Well, Verse has the clean medicals compared to Latu. I think Latu's ceiling is a little higher.
I agree, but I'll take Verse all day long. Of course, I might be a little bit biased. All right, let's take a quick break. We will come back and catch up with Brian Bradley, who is at the morning skate, and we'll get the latest what's going on with your Tampa Bay Lightning. Big game 3 tonight coming up, folks. Cannot wait to get to Amalie Arena for this one tonight. It's going to be a banger. And the Lightning in a must-win situation. Get there early. We're brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services. My buddy Scott Fitzgerald over there will take care of you if you're in the market for a home loan now. I know rates are up, but he will do his best and the very best to keep all those other fees down, which makes a difference. And of course, you can keep those fees down. You can refinance at a later date, but get the home that you want now. And that's American Mortgage Services, Scott at amstampa.com. And we're also presented by the great folks at Hydrate Heroes. Get your three-pack free at tryhydrateheroes.com. Tryhydrateheroes.com. Get a free 3-pack and see what I've been raving about. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
It's Diamond Days at the Gold and Diamond Source because April's birthstone is diamonds. As they take center stage, get up to 20% off all diamond jewelry. And our first-time buyers program will help you get educated about the 4 C's and all the different shapes and styles. And remember, you only want natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form a natural diamond. You don't want something that was made in a factory just a couple of weeks ago. And remember, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. You can always trade up at the Gold and Diamond Source for a bigger, better one. And they will spend the time to educate you about your diamonds and how to take care of them.
And of course, consider the Golden Diamond Source to maintain and ensure your the settings and make any necessary repairs to keep your jewelry in top condition. It's the 40th anniversary of the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we eagerly await the appearance of one Brian Bradley. Brian is supposedly appearing by StreamYard. I sent him the link, and hopefully he will appear here soon in our little box down below. In the meantime, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on NFL Draft Day and Game 3 for the Lightning. Rays are off today, thank God, right? Aren't they?
I'm muted. I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, well, there he is, right on time. The great Brian Bradley. As we got Game 3 tonight, it's the morning skate, and there he is, our on-the-scene reporter live from Amalie Arena for Game 3 tonight. There it is. What's up, partner? How are you?
Hey, JP, how are you doing today? Everything good? You hear me good?
Yes, we hear you great. I can see in the background there the Bolts spelled out in T-shirts or whatever the hell they did there. That looks cool.
Yeah, let's see. The Panthers are on the ice skating right now, as everybody can see. Big Game 3 tonight. Some definite updates on players that are going to play and not in a second. But you know what? The Panthers are doing their morning skate right now. They're on the ice in their usual red and white, yucky colors, I guess. So
ugly.
But, you know what? The Lightning, I was at both games 1 and 2. Obviously, we lost each game 3-2, last one in overtime. But I thought game 1, the Panthers were a better team. I thought in game 2, we deserved the win. I mean, Bazzi played great in net. Both goalies did, but Bobrovsky made some big saves. And so did Bazzi. But you know what? The one on Matt Dumba was incredible. I mean, I don't even know if he could ever do that again. But at the end of the day, you know what? We win tonight. You got to win one game at a time. We can sit here and say all we want, but let's be honest. We can't go down 3-0 to the Panthers. I feel good about tonight's game. I think the Bolts will respond. We had our chances. We had a power play, 4-minute power play. We only generated 2 shots. Declare almost scored in overtime or before overtime started. So we definitely had our chances to bury the Panthers in that game, and we just didn't do it. So, I'm expecting a big crowd tonight. A lot of people are here. It's going to be electric, with the Lightning fans, Lightning Nation here. And, you know what? Huge win for us in Game 3 tonight.
Hey, Brian, since you were there in games 1 and 2 in Florida, I noticed their crowd was really into it. Every time they touched the puck, man, there was a rumble in the crowd. I want to see that tonight from the Lightning fans. Give the Lightning fans a little bit of pep talk here. They got to get in their seats early and bring it from the very beginning, right? We got to have some thunder tonight. And how much does that help the players when the whole crowd is just into it every time they touch the puck?
Oh, yeah, for sure, JP. I mean, you know what? I thought in Game 1 down in Sunrise, the crowd was wild.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really electric crowd. I thought the crowd was awesome. I thought in Game 2, it was so-so. But, I mean, you know what? No question tonight. I mean, you talk about the keys to the game tonight. I'll tell you the keys to the game tonight. The Lightning have not started the first period in each of the first 2 games good. We've really not come out of the gate until about the 5-minute mark of the first. We need a good start. We need the crowd involved in the game tonight. I think the first 5 or 10 minutes, we come on the ice, get this crowd going, score that first goal, which we haven't had a lead all series. If we get that first goal and get this 20,000 people in this rink going wild, I think it's going to be a different atmosphere. And you know what? Let the Panthers play comeback now. So bring it on.
I love it.
Hey, Brian, through these first 2 games, what are you noticing that Florida might be doing to limit Nikita Kucherov? Because clearly through 2 games, it just has not been nearly as effective as he was in the regular season.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. But he's a world-class player, and you know what? When you're talking about the Panthers, you're talking. You know what? They're trying to shut those guys down. You got Stamkos, so you can shoot the puck. You've got Point. They're going after guys like Point and Kucherov and limiting their time and space, especially in the neutral zone. We're not giving a lot of room in the neutral zone. and they're really clamping down hard. They are one of the best forechecking teams in the NHL. So you know what? We got to get out of our zone fast and quick. Make that one pass, get out of the zone, because they dump the puck in 9 out of 10 times. They like to play behind the net. They're number one in puck possession behind the net. Turnovers. They take the body. They have a great forecheck. But you know what? We got to be ready. We got to get the puck. We got to move it fast. And then we got to attack in the neutral zone. And I thought in game 2, we dumped the puck in more. We made the Panthers go back and get it and use our speed to our advantage. I thought we played really good in the second and third period of game 2. We really looked good.
Well, that's got to continue tonight, Brian. And who's playing tonight? Is it the same 11 and 7? Tanner Jeannot, healthy scratch? What do you think?
No. I got an update. Vazzy's in tonight, which we all know.
Yeah.
Vazzy's been unbelievable. On defense, Nick Perbix is back. Crozier's out. And then up front, Connor Sheary, I think, is out, and Tanner Jeannot is in. So they've juggled the lines a little bit right now from what I'm hearing. So that's what I'm reporting here from Hamley. But the big news is, I think, for the Panthers, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's a big loss for them. You know, when you go to the Stanley Cup playoffs and you play, there's 3 things you want to have. A is goaltending. Both goalies have been really good. Bobrovsky's been outstanding. Vazzy's been unbelievable. 2 is your specialty teams. We got to be better. Have that power play where we have a 4-minute advantage. We got 2 shots and injuries. Florida has a big injury tonight. Sam Bennett is out for a week. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, when he went out of the game, the Panthers team changed. We took over the game. He's a big part of the reason why they're so good. And you know what? Injuries are part of the game, like we lost Braden Point a few years ago. But Sam Bennett is not playing, and that's good news for Lightning folks.
That's great news for Lightning folks. So they gotta take advantage of that tonight. A great start, and defensively, I think the Lightning have played pretty well 5-on-5, but there's just a couple of breakdowns here and there. Vassy's had to be way too good, in my opinion. I think the defensive play, especially in front of him, needs to be better. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. You know what, JP, I agree 100%. I mean, we have to start better. I mean, not just with the whole team. I mean, we're getting outshot 9-0 and 13 or 14-1 in the first 10 minutes of both games. That's
crazy.
Unacceptable. I mean, this is playoff hockey. You know, coming out of that tunnel that they're going to be ready to go. And the same thing tonight. I'm going to tell you right now, the Florida Panthers are going to try not to take penalties against the Lightning. And number 2, they're going to try and weather the storm in the first 10 minutes. You know what? They know if they get this Lightning crowd involved, it's going to be wild in this building. So we need to get in here, get a lead, get the crowd on our side, and just take it over from there. And you know what? Then we can talk about Saturday's game. You know what? It's going to be 2-1. I feel good about tonight's game. I think the Lightning will come back and go to 2-1. Then Saturday's game's massive. 2-2 or 3-1, but you can't talk about that till we win this game tonight.
That's right. That's right. All right, Brian, great stuff, my friend. I will see you tonight up there in the Channel Club, and we will get this crowd going.
You betcha, JP. Have a good day, guys. Go Bolts.
Go Bolts. Absolutely. Well, there you go. Brian Bradley on the scene at Morning Skate right there. Yeah, Sam Bennett. And he's right. You know, when Bennett went out, that's when the Lightning really surged. And I thought they had the better 5v5 play. And again, you know, this whole series would have a completely different look. And I know this is stating the obvious, but I think we you know, if you're a Lightning fan, you're kind of down in the dumps, you're down 0-2. This honestly, this should be 1-1. It should be 1-1. No question about it. The Lightning could have won both games. I'm not saying they should have won game 1, but Vassy could have stole game 1. I mean, it was a one goal game, and the Lightning hit the post. I mean, they could have won that game. So let's not say they were, even though they were completely outclassed in the first period. So they're not out of this series by any stretch of the imagination. They just got it one game at a time. I know it's cliche, but they're good enough to play with these guys, especially without Sam Bennett. You know, that's a big, big deal.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, you could say that they probably deserve to win game 2. I mean, you go back to last series, they deserved to win that series. I mean, at some point, right? At some point, you got to win. You got to win the games,
right?
I mean, just bottom line, you have to find a way to win games, and we know this team has it in them, but you know, we've already talked about for various reasons why they're just not getting it done, and eventually you're going to have to break through Bob. You know, I think you talk about a guy who's been playing really well right now, and I think is feeding off the energy of the crowd in Florida. I think Bobrovsky has been a big case of that. Now that they're on the road, the Lightning have had his number in the past before. Granted, this might be the best version of Bob that the Lightning have seen, clearly, but they've just got to find a way to break through, because I do agree. I think once they found their 5v5 game in that second period in game 2, I think they were the better team the rest of the way. But, you know, you got to break through against that guy.
Well, we'll see tonight. We got Cooper from, what is that, from yesterday?
Yeah, we got John Cooper queued up here.
All right, let's listen in to Coop here from yesterday's press availability.
The closeness of those two games, does that buoy your expectation? Does it make it more discouraging, or how do you feel? Does it even matter that you lost 2-1 goal games?
Well, of course it matters. We'd like to be the team that won those games. I guess ultimately, they were close. They're exciting. If you're a fan in the building, I don't know how you walk away from either of those two games and say, I don't like hockey. It's been a Florida-Tampa series that is basically taken right off from the ones that's been in the past. They're really
circling here.
Come on, John Cooper.
Really.
Well, he's right about that. I mean, just from a pure entertainment standpoint, especially game 2. Game 2 was just great freaking theater, great freaking hockey. It was amazing. The two goalies going back and forth, end to end. Wade, I mean, I thought game 1 was a little boring, to be quite honest. Especially for the Lightning side.
It was boring. It was
12,
very
13
boring.
shots through the first 2 periods. It's just awful. But the second game was just electric on so many levels. And I expect that type of game tonight. I don't expect a game 1 type. I expect that type of game tonight. I think the Lightning could really, if the crowd gets into it. And that's why I keep harping on the crowd. I think it makes such a huge difference when it happens in the playoffs, because you got a full barn, which is much. I know we sell out every game, but it's not a hard sellout like tonight will be. There will be a good 3,000-4,000 more people in the building tonight. And that's got to matter. That has got to matter. And you've got to get up off your seats. Even if the Lightning fall down in this one, that's even more reason to get up and get going.
Yeah. And I was surprised too when we were just speaking with Bradley. It sounds like they might go back, 12-6? Is that what it sounds like? Or Jeannot's going in, right?
It may just be Jeannot going in, yeah.
Is Jeannot going in?
Yeah. If you're Cooper, you're down 0-2, and you're like, do I need to mix everything? Do I need to make some more dramatic changes? I don't necessarily think you do.
I mean, I like I definitely want to say 11-7. I see no reason to deviate from 11-7 based on how that worked out. Jeannot, I mean, you would have thought this series would have been prototypical, like or made rather for Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah.
But he was kind of a no-show in game 1, gets sat in game 2, and I'm just I hate to go back to that trade, but it ain't exactly what you paid for. We can agree there.
I mean, we can relitigate that maybe at another time, but
right.
I would agree. And it's time for him to show up, and maybe that benching does something to him, and you get him back in, and maybe that's what Cooper was thinking about. We got to get him fired up.
He might be an example of a guy. Remember, he had a lot of injuries this year that were lingering, and maybe that, we don't know what these guys are going through. They could get knocked out on Saturday for all you know, and on Sunday it's like, hey, Tanner Jeannot's having surgery on something. You just don't know. Right. So that might be limiting some of his effectiveness, because he plays a very physical brand. Right. But it's just clear that they need to get a little bit more, physical with this team. Yeah.
And maybe that's the point that's being made here tonight. And also, I think if you take him off the ice 2 games in a row, I think the Panthers, they get a little taller, right? They get a little bit taller, take some more runs at Pointer and Kucherov, and, there's a little bit more of that. So you bring Jeannot back, and maybe that backs them off.
I do agree. Like a guy like Connor Sheary, for example, just there's probably nothing that he's going to be able to provide, I think, in a series like this. So you take him out, Jeannot in. On paper, it does look like a little bit of a better move.
Yeah, get heavy. Take take a few more liberties yourself and running their guys and rely on your penalty kill. It's dangerous. I get it. I'm not saying, do this stuff on purpose, but sometimes you got to walk right up to the edge. And if you got to push back at this time. If not now, when, right? So maybe that's what you expect the Lightning to come out with a lot of heavy play and, get the crowd into it. We'll see. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll finish things up, get the latest lineups for the Lightning, see where their lines are at. We'll also check in. Got a couple other notes that I wanted to get to here as well, not only on the NFL draft, but the NBA as well. Magic are playing tonight. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we roll through this draft day, game 3. I don't know how we keep up with it. And your Magic are playing tonight.
And my Magic are playing tonight. It's just on sensory overload. All these things going on.
When do you think the trades start happening? If there are a bunch of trades, do you think we'll see any pre-draft trades? I doubt it because I think the top 2 picks are in.
I'm curious to see what happens with maybe some of the receivers that are on the market right now. Like, remember, what was it, 2 years ago? AJ Brown got traded during the draft for that first round pick. I'm curious to see about a guy like Brandon Ayuk. Did somebody make a move for him during the draft? T. Higgins, some of these receivers on the market. I'm curious to see.
Yeah, that is true. I would not I think there might be some movement there because of these great receivers in the draft. Do you see this in the portal news? Jaden Rashada is transferring to Georgia from Arizona State. The one-time University of Florida $13 million man that was committed to UF. I mean, the Gators, do they really care now? They got their quarterback of the future and their quarterback of the now. But just interesting to note that here goes Jaden Rashada, who was the number one overall recruit and number one overall quarterback by some. Now will be on his second school, probably heading towards his third at some point.
I like the trend here. Oregon did this with Dante Moore, who was the 5-star freshman from UCLA, where he's going to sit behind Dylan Gabriel for a year, and now Rashada is going to sit behind Beck for a year. So I do kind of like that little trend right there.
And Croman Hook is going to sit behind DJ
Ule. Let him sit for a year. Right.
No, I think that's good. I don't think you want to put in DJ Lagway is going to sit behind Graham Mertz. I think that's the best way to do it. I think guys coming in right away trying to play, especially in the SEC, that's not a good idea. Just let them figure it out. Let them sit on the sideline, dip their toe in the water, and come back in their second season full of confidence, knowing what you need to do. I think it's a much better scenario.
My favorite, or not, I shouldn't say favorite. I don't know how to word it, but just I guess interesting portal observation is what the hell, like with Colorado, and like I know they've added some players in, but first of all, Dion, the way he speaks, like he was asked about it, I think earlier this week about the players, and somebody mentioned like you have some starters, and he goes, starters? What are you talking about, starters? Like we don't have any starters leaving this, but like the way he like talks about it, like these guys, and you remember the running back Dylan Edwards who entered the portal now, and like he was one of their better players.
Yeah,
running back,
especially early in the season. I thought he was one of their better players, and he kind of fell out of favor.
And like, yeah, sure, they brought in a running back from Ohio State, but like to me, Colorado should be getting more of these guys together in their building, not just one guy come in, one guy leave.
Right.
And it's just interesting to me because remember last year he came in, he goes, "I'm coming, and I'm bringing Louis with me."
Yeah.
And last year's Louis is now going bye-bye. So
that's the culture, and this is the thing with Dion, right? The culture you breed, right? It's like being in a relationship. You cheat on your wife and she's cheating on her husband. You two get together. How you think that's going to go, right? You go steal other teams' players that were committed to Travis Hunter, committed to FSU, and all these other players, the guys that are committed. You go in and you sneak them out. Those by definition they're not loyal players. When when things don't go exactly as they wanted to with you, guess what's happening? They're leaving, and you're going to have a constant rotation at Colorado, and that doesn't breed winning. I don't care how good your players are. Consistency wins in football, right? You don't win. Look at the Michigan team that just won the national championship. How long did a lot of those guys play together? A long time. That team was together for 3 years building. And they were a finely tuned machine. You're never going to get that at Colorado. Never. Not recruiting the way he does, which he completely eschews high school recruiting for the most part. He's not going out. He's not going to any home visits, not going out seeing any players. They can come see him, like he says. And if that's the way he wants to run his program, fine. He's got the cachet. He can pull that off. Where another coaches can't.
I just better
but will
not
it work?
see.
Will it work?
I better not see anybody at the beginning of the year when they get to poll time, and I know it's going to happen. But somebody's going to have this team ranked inside their top 25, and they're going to sell themselves that they could win the Big 12. Like they won 4 games last year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. To me, it just seems like a giant circus over in Boulder right now.
Speaking of a giant circus with a big top and all. The Bears unveiled a nearly $5 billion proposal Wednesday for an enclosed stadium next door to their current home at Soldier Field as a part of a major project that would transform the city's lakefront, and they are asking for public funding to help make it happen. The plan calls for $3.2 billion for the new stadium, plus an additional $1.5 billion in infrastructure. The team has said the project could add green and open space while improving access to the city's museum campus, and also could include a publicly owned hotel. This is not an easy project, but Chicago doesn't like it easy, Bears president Kevin Warren said. So how much of this is going to be public money? The proposal calls for $2.25 billion from the Bears, $300 million from an NFL loan, and $900 million in bonds from the Illinois Sports Facilities Authority. And another ISA would involve extending bonds to existing 2% hotel tax. Bears said the project would generate $8 billion in economic impact for the region. That seems ambitious at best, when you already have a field. So that's $8 billion more than the stadium we have right next door. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Their stadium, though, is not great. I know that much.
And Soldier Field's awful.
It needs a top on it. There's no doubt
and it's not a
about
great
that.
location either. It's not a great location. Again, you've had an absolute exodus from the southern part of Chicago. Most of the Bears fans live up north. They're originally going to build that stadium up north.
Not to mention, if you put
the state screwed them up over some tax issue.
Right, and not to mention, you put a dome on that thing, you don't think the NFL would love to host like a Super Bowl in Chicago?
Of course. That's what they're saying. Kevin Warren is like, he comes from the Big Ten. He's like, we're going to do Final Fours. We're going to make Chicago a destination city. I don't see it being that in that part of town. I think it's a bad location. I think it sounds a lot like what's going on with the Rays. It's a bad location. That's not where you want to be.
Right. Hey, last thing real quick. I have to share something that I just saw on Twitter that scares the ever-living daylight out of me.
Oh, no. What?
There it is. It's on the screen.
Can't see it. What does it say?
The Rays have put out this little teaser for their new City Connect uniform, which is the reveal is on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to wear it on the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what I said I did not want on this uniform?
St. Petersburg?
I did not want any of these palm trees. And what do I see in this teaser?
Oh, you see
palm trees. That tells me this thing's going to be some variation of baby blue. It's probably going to have that wimpy starburst somewhere on it.
Mm-hmm.
And some palm. Oh, I can already see it. We're going down a route that I'm not a fan of. I'm scared.
But I didn't even get to talk about this bogus poll that the Rays put out and are sponsoring all over social media. We'll do that tomorrow. What a joke. What an absolute joke. That's what you got to do when you don't have any organic support. You got to trump it up and use fake media things. And that's what they're doing. All right. Great show. Thank you, Nick. Good job. We will be back tomorrow to break down all the NFL draft stuff from the Buccaneers. We'll be watching it. We'll have some great guests on tomorrow. Corey Long's going to join us. He'll be at Amalie Arena tonight. So we'll talk Bucks and Bolts with him. So it'll be a great show tomorrow. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. We will see you then.